Okay, so we're ready to do the profiles on the E module. The ribs are all good and dry and strong. So we'll go ahead and take the pins out. I did notice on the inside of the B module, back when I was putting the verticals in, that I had left a couple pins on the inside of the tunnel. I don't think it would hurt anything, it wouldn't impact the train, but it would impact the number of T-pins I had to work with, so it was good that I found it. All right, so profile one, right here, lay it in there. That looks good. Think for a moment. Pin that down with just a couple in the middle here. So we got over just a bit there, so we'll have to work that. I might shave that off just a touch. Let's do that. This rib, rib 3, obviously I didn't get it right. It's actually extending out beyond the edge here. So I'm going to shave just a little bit of this off. It needs to meet the rib, but not overhang. So, all right, there we go. That looks a lot better. That will allow the rib to come back in there and be up snug against the base like it was supposed to be. Oh yeah, much, much better. Now we can get in there flush. So let's put this back in. Okay. All right, so rib 2, or profile 2, excuse me. Put that right in here. All right. On this side, and we'll put in profile 3. And this lined up. Another nice thing about this material we're working with is it's forgiving enough that when we make a mistake, there's an easy way to fix that mistake and get it right. That's good. All right, and then 4. I don't know if I've said much about it. One of the things that they talk about, you know, when we're gluing down the profiles like this, and we're doing a lot of welding. Yeah, that looks good. You gotta protect the surface you're working on, which is what this white cloth is all about. This can absorb the tape, and I can pull it loose and get it out and let it dry without it sticking to my tabletop. Obviously, we don't want to stick to the tabletop. All right, so we've got all these guys in place. I think we ought to go ahead and glue them down. What do you think? So let's get the first ones here. So we'll get some glue on profile 1. sure I got this pinned in the corner here. This guy looks good. This is such a long run, I'm going to put some extra pins in here just to make sure that all of this is up snug against the base. That will also help when I go to weld it. Obviously it's going to be closer in and less glue will leak through. Alright, so there's profile 1 in place. We'll do profile 2. And I do it by the numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You don't have to do it that way. To me, that just makes more sense. It's more logical, which is scary, I know. But I figure if I go by the numbers, then I'm less apt to miss something or forget something. That doesn't mean I won't, it just means I'm less apt to. Alright, that's 2 down. Profile 3. Glue right there, so we'll just share that with the rest of it, huh? Alright. Okay. So we're also, of course, making sure that the edges line up, that I'm lined up with the outlines on the middle here for the ribs where they're supposed to touch. And where they get glued in at. Okay. It's all good and tight there. Alright, so I'm going to turn it around one more time. Got a little fan running here. Let's see if we can pull that down a little bit better. The fan's not catching it. So profile 4. By the way, this is a very bad habit to get into, holding these things in your mouth like that. Don't do it. Very dangerous. Very dangerous. Not a good safety practice. So I have asked that my production staff here keep an eye on me and make sure that I don't do that anymore. Although that's not going to touch there. That'll be part of my weld, I guess. Alright. This is very interesting, looking at the rib layout and where things are at, and wondering what's going to happen. It requires this like this little channel right in here. I know somewhere in here we've got a hidden railroad. Oh, that's on that side over there. So, but it's interesting. It's fascinating to look at this as it's being built. It's a lot of fun to build this and to see how it comes together and to see what I'm getting for my money, as it were. Okay, we'll turn this around one more time here. So there's the profile on the E module. All I need to do now is come back. I'm going to let this sit for a few minutes, and then I'll come back and do the welding on all the edges. No, I will not. I almost forgot. Excuse me. I forgot the corners. Or I almost forgot the corners. So, got to get these guys in place. And when you're putting this together, a little point of note, all of these balsa wood corners are cut to length. They're cut to go exactly where they're supposed to go and what they're supposed to fit. So you should never have to cut this or readjust the size or anything else. The really only thing you need to do is put them in place, glue them down, put some tape on them, and we'll have it. I set the tape back over here. Excuse me just a moment. So here's my tape. So we'll put some glue in this corner. So you do have to check and look and make sure that the one you're putting in here is the right one and it fits this spot like it should. So don't think about, oh, I don't have the right size one, or I didn't get enough of them. They didn't send you just, they won't send you just a bunch of pieces and you cut them to size. They're already cut. All you got to do is put them in place. Hit a hard spot there. Imagine that, a hard spot in balsa wood. All right, that one looks good. So this is going to be the same thing over here. We'll just walk around to this side. Whoops. And with my roll of tape. It's wonderful when everything goes perfectly the way it's supposed to with this. Glue up in there. Snug against there, and then around, pull up snug there, and then all right. Around to our third corner. That one fits just fine right there. This really does help with the tape to pull those corners in. Make sure the profiles are good and snug up against this. And then we'll put an extra pin in there to make sure the alignment is right. It never hurts to run your finger across top of that. Make sure that's level, that is down where it should be. And of course, if it isn't, a little bit of shaving with some sandpaper or with a box knife if it becomes necessary. So that is just going to, we'll fix that problem and get it nice and flat. Several of these areas are areas where you're going to have train track going across there, and of course you want it as flat and smooth as possible so that your track will do that as well. It'll lay smooth and flat. All right. One last piece. Right in here. Right. And I always keep a glue rag handy, somewhere I can wipe off a little glue and wipe it off my fingers. It's always helpful to have that handy just to make sure that everything is done right and you don't leave too much of a mess or any more than you can help. Because if you make a mess, sometimes you got to clean it up. All right, I think we're done here with the E module. Come back around at one time so you can get an idea of what it's looking like. So that's the E module with the ribs and the profiles, and we'll let this dry. I do need to, that looks really good down there. I need to come back and weld the profiles. I'll do that in a few minutes. I'm gonna let this set up for a minute or two, and then I'll come back and do the welding on the edges around here. So I'll see you for the next module.